dear learners, uh, we are learning about the Makhan or the Desi butter. We have seen the definition, introduction of the Makhan or the butter or the Loni. Definition according to April 1976. The composition of Makhan, and we have also seen the existing village method. So how the Makhan is generally prepared by the existing village method. We have seen the various steps like receiving milk, boiling of milk, cooling of milk, inoculation, then setting of dahi, agitation of dahi, addition of water for the washing of Makhan, and then the final product for the washing, that is the Makhan. Just review the we will review the existing village method, how the village method is generally adapted to prepare the Makhan. First one is the receiving milk, means the milk, whatever the milk is available, that milk is taken for the preparation of Makhan. Then it is boiled. The boiling, the milk is cooled to the room temperature, and then the next step is the inoculation. Inoculation means the addition of the starter culture. But here in this existing village method, the whatever the previous day's dahi is available, or whatever the buttermilk is available, that is added here. But as this is the existing village method, nobody knows how much quantity is to be added. So there is no control over the inoculation process, means the addition of the starter culture. Again, the nobody knows the quality of the starter culture. So this is the point regarding the inoculations. Then the setting of the heat, it means the starter culture added milk is kept for more than 48 hours without disturbing. So this point is called as the setting of dahi. And then after, when dahi is formed after the 48 hours, that dahi or 7 to 8 dahi, collected dahi is taken in a pot, that is the churning pot, for the agitation of dahi, and the agitation is carried out traditionally. It means that is ununiform, uncontrolled agitation or the churning process, or in alternate directions. So we have seen in our previous lecture how the Makhan is prepared by the existing village method. And then after, when the Makhan is formed, that Makhan is washed with water. Again here it is not checked whether all the impurities are removed with the help of the water or not. Nobody knows. So if any impurities is present here in this Makhan, so automatically this Makhan has a very low keeping quality. So if all the impurity is not removed from this Makhan, it is remain as it is in the final product, means in the Makhan. And if when the impurities remain in this Makhan, so such a type of Makhan generally has a very low keeping quality. So in this way, by the existing village method, the Makhan is prepared. We have seen in our previous lecture. So this was just a review to see, because in next slide we are going to see the improved village method. So here in all these steps there was no control over these steps, and therefore it directly affects on the final quality of the product. So by considering these points, the improved village method is developed. So in coming slides we are going to see the improved village method. If you understood the existing village method, then it will become very easy to understand the improved village method. So let's see the improved village method. First step is the receiving milk, second step is the processing of milk, then the cooling of milk, setting up curd, then churning, the storage of makhan, and the final product, that is the makhan. So this is the flow diagram of improved village method. As I said you earlier, if you understood the uh, village method, traditional method of makhan preparation, so it will become very easy to understand the improved village method. All the steps are quite similar to the village method, but here in this improved method, all these points are controlled. Means we will see each point in detail, and we will see how this point is controlled here in this improved village method, and therefore it is called as the improved village method. Means if the first point of we will just see the first point, that is the receiving of milk. It means that the only a good quality of milk, the milk which is the sweet, clean, that milk is taken for the preparation of makhan or dahi. Before receiving this milk, it is tested for fat and SNF content. It is tested for its quality, whether the milk is from the superior quality or not. Whereas in the traditional method or village method, the milk was not tested for the fat and SNF content, but here in this improved method, it is tested for fat and SNF content, and that milk is taken. Okay, so the next step is the processing of milk. Processing of milk means the heating of milk, boiling of milk, and here the why milk is heated. The important point, the important objectives behind the processing of milk to kill the microorganisms present in milk, so it will become safe, or it will become a clean space for the desirable starter culture for their growth. So processing of milk means the heating milk or the boiling of milk to kill the microorganisms present in milk. So this is the processing. After the processing of milk, it becomes safe, or it becomes safe for the starter culture that we are going to add in the next point. So the next step is the cooling of milk. After the processing of milk, the next step is the cooling of milk, because after the cooling of milk, the next step is the addition of the starter culture, and a starter culture general is not added to the hot milk. Therefore this processed milk is cooled to the room temperature, and when this milk attains the room temperature, then only the starter culture is added. Here the 2 to 2.5% of starter culture is added, and starter culture means it is a tested starter culture, the starter culture which is having the good quality, the superior starter culture, and desirable starter culture, desirable microorganisms are added at the rate of 2 to 2.5% of initial quantity of milk, and it is allowed to set, but not more than 48 hours. Whereas in traditional method or village method, the setting period of curd was more than 48 hours, and here it is not more than 48 hours. So this is again difference between the previous village method and this is the improved village method. After the setting of the curd, the next step is the churning. Here again the churning is controlled, whereas in the traditional village method, churning was not controlled and it was not in a similar direction. It was in opposite direction. So again here is the difference between the village method and improved village method. Whereas in the village method, previous method, we have seen that the wooden churner is generally used for the churning process. Whereas in this improved village method, the desi metal churners are generally used for the churning. So this is again the difference between the village method and the improved village method. After when the churning process is completed, the makhan is removed and it is washed with water. In churning process, desi metal churners are generally used in improved village method. So for the churning process, here the desi metal churners generally has the power driven gears. So it helps to maintain the control over the speed of the churning. So it helps to form the more larger size of lump. So this is the benefit of this metal desi churners, which has a power driven gearbox. This desi metal churners has a tap. When the churning process is completed, that tap is open and the buttermilk is drained through that tap, and then again it is closed, and the equal amount of dahi which is taken for the churning process, the same quantity of the water is added for the washing purposes, and then it is washed regularly. So washing it again and again with the cold waters helps to remove the maximum impurities from the makhan. When the washing of makhan is completed, then makhan is removed with the help of perforated wooden scope, and then after the removing the makhan, it is allowed to store. The last step is the storage of makhan. Then when the washing process is completed and it is removed from the churner with the help of perforated wooden scope, then it is stored for the further up to the till the further stage. So in this way the makhan is prepared by the improved village method. I think you might have got the point, or got the difference between the traditional village method and the improved village method. Whereas in the traditional village method, there was no control over the all the points. Whereas in the improved village method, there is the control over the all the point, that is the receiving of milk, means the only good quality of milk is taken, the milk is tested for the fattiness in it, then the processing of milk is heated to destroy or to kill the microorganisms present in that milk. The cooling means the milk is cooled at the room temperature. The setting of the quantity, that is the 2 to 2.5% of starter culture is added, whereas in the traditional method there was no control over the addition of the starter culture. In this way we have completed both the method, that is the traditional village method and improved village method. Thank you very much for listening my lecture.